Traditional baseball development is obsolete and dead. Velocity isn't just how fast a baseball travels, it's mindset and habits training, learning strategies, success routines, and so much more. I created this podcast for parents of middle school and high school baseball players. Baseball Velocity School. Baseball Velocity School.
What does your son want? What does he want out of whatever he's doing? If your son, one of the things I hear a lot, players that say, hey, I want to play college baseball. I hear that all the time. It's one of the number one things I hear. And then you take it a step further and you're like, cool. What kind of schools do you want to go to? What kind of schools does your abilities match to? Name me a couple. Who's a head coach on that team? Where do they recruit players from? Why do you feel like that's a good fit? What kind of academic majors are there? What do you want to do when you graduate high school, you graduate college? What path? Is there anywhere that's better for that and has the baseball you want? And how's that all work? When you ask those questions, what you will see is a brain that's about to explode because they don't have an answer for you. Most players kind of just look at you like, I don't know, whatever happens, happens, or whoever will take me, that's where I'll go, and we'll just figure it out. What I like to take a step back, and that's really what we work with a lot of our players on, but what I like to take a step back is say, wait, hold on a second. So and so every player has something, whether it's the Fortnite stuff or whether it's maybe just even Major League Baseball, and they just know every player and every statistic. There is something that your son has intricate knowledge about that they are dedicating their hobby time, their extra time. It's not about school. It's just something that they enjoy or like, and they have very, very detailed, specialized knowledge. Whatever it may be. And it may be something as a parent, you're like, yeah, it's nonsense. It's Fortnite or it's this or it's that or whatever it might be, or it's important. It's the question is not the validity of all the things that they know about the thing that they like that has nothing to do with baseball. The question that I have is, once they know all this stuff about everything else, but they don't know about the thing they say they want. And so is it an unrealistic expectation for a young man to analyze the different places, the different majors, the head coach, where he came from, what his coaching style is like? And before you take a step back and go, yeah, well, that's pretty deep. Like, these young men are like 14, 15, 16. They're not going to do that. Go ahead and actually take a step back and think about the random specialized knowledge in whatever other hobby they have, and you're going to find out that they know a lot of things that are a lot more detailed than that. And so it just doesn't match at the end of the day. You say you want something, but yet you're just leaving it to chance. You're not making it your obsession of focus of not the actual playing, but what are all the things that I want? What kind of things do I need to be looking for? And so that's how it matches. And if we take another step back and we say, wait a minute, we got in the car, we spent all this money, we drove across the country, went to 4 showcases, but my son can't answer those questions. Personally, I would say, hey, figure all that stuff out and then I'll make the commitment to help you. But we're not just going to go just throw things at the wall and see what happens when you haven't taken the time and the effort and the energy to actually figure all these things out. What do you really want? Until you know that, you really are just throwing things at the wall. And then the other thing is there's no clarity. So as you're working hard and you're doing all these things, you just really don't even know where you're moving towards. You're just hoping something works. And so that's really the mentality they're in. That's what we're really about to really work with them and change with our collegiate kind of workshop thing that we do on another side, another program that we have. But really, that's the idea. That's where I would challenge high school players to really get to and to really know so they can actually get to where they want. I always talk about the feather in Forrest Gump. If you've seen that movie, players usually don't know anything about that movie, but they say I'm getting old. But the feather that flies around, it just kind of floats through the whole story. And that's where a lot of players end up. And you'll hear me say this a lot, and you can go Google it. 40 to sometimes 50% of students at universities, not necessarily baseball players or sports, but in general, 40 to 50%, if you combine the categories of freshmen who transfer after their first year or drop out, it's 4 to 5 out of 10. And it's because they didn't figure out all the different elements and it wasn't part of their thought process. Now, can it change? Is it going to change? Absolutely. It can change 100 times. But the idea is, do they have the process to think about those things, to consider those things? And I would say that unless they are actually considering and processing all the questions that I spoke about, they're not actually going to be able to change the right way and figure out, oh, I was thinking this and now I think this. Well, the only way you think this, your final desire, is because you were considering everything else and it led you to that. So really important to kind of go down that path in the process. Let them change their minds. Let them change career ideas. That part doesn't matter. The part that I have found matters the most is actually the thought process involved in constantly analyzing and thinking that as they go through the high school levels. So they're actually zoning in. Talk to you later.
If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure to share it with a friend. And don't forget to go to jasonalamo.com to learn all about our middle school and high school baseball mentorship and training program. jasonalamo.com. Check it out. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure to share it with a friend. And don't forget to go to jasonalamo.com to learn all about our middle school and high school baseball mentorship and training program. jasonalamo.com. Check it out.